evening. Now, I wasn't going to do another one for a couple of days. I said, yeah, I thought, well, we'll just leave it as is, until I actually do something. I thought we'll leave it for a couple of days. But every now and then, something happens that is such a good story. It's the sort of thing that you'd go into the pub and just go, you'd never guess what happened to me today. And that's what you would lead with. It was one of those things. And also these days, it's all horrible stuff. You turn the news on, it's always nasty, it's always mean. So let's have a good story for once, shall we? Gospel truth this is as well. I was on the top. I was fiddling with the boat earlier. Anybody who's got anything, an old car, an old boat, you always have to fiddle with the bloody things. But anyway, so I was up there having a fiddle with it. And this lady walked down the onto the pontoon. Nice lady, about my age. She came down onto the pontoon, and she stood there looking at the boat. Now, I carried on doing what I'm doing, but when you're trying to do something and have a look at the same time, so you're trying to be nonchalant, but wonder what the hell she's doing. So I was doing that, and then she patted the boat. She came over, she gave a little pat. I was like, all right, fair enough. And she came up and she went, have you renamed this boat? Now, at that point, you take a quick suck in the breath. You go, because you're never sure. When everybody asks you a question, you're not too sure which way to go with it. Because you could be doing well, or you could be seriously in the shit. So, I went, yes. Yeah, I've renamed it. I said the name, when I had it, was a silly name. And I said when I bought it, so I renamed it. Now, some people say you should never rename a boat. It's bad luck. But I think that's complete horseshit myself. You call it whatever you want to bloody well call it. It only ever means what it means to you. Whatever the person calls it 60 years ago means nothing to you, does it? So you call it what you want to call it. Anyway, I'm sidetracking. The lady, bless her heart, she went, did it used to be called the Abbey Jane? And I was like, oh, yeah. I said, it did. I said, going back a bit, but yeah, it did. It used to be called the Abbey Jane. And she went, this was my dad's boat. I said, really? How long ago are we talking here? She went, 40 years ago. So he was the original owner of this boat. And he bought this boat down in Cornwall. And he sailed Cornwall with it, Devon, the Scilly Isles. Sailed loads of places with it. And then she tells me that her name is actually Abbey Jane. Her dad, who bought the boat, named the boat after her. So I was like blown away by this. This is the woman, and she's telling me about her childhood spent on the boat, the holidays, the swimming under it, around it, how much their family loved it, how much time they spent on using the boat, loving the boat, doing things. And it blew me away. And then you have to suddenly start to think to yourself, what are the chances? Just what are the... So her dad, bless him, is still alive. He is 90, and she said he is going to be so chuffed that it's still being used and still being put to good use. What are the chances that she lived in Cornwall? She now lives up at Wells, sometimes near the sea. Twice a day it's near the sea. And the boat has worked its way round and is now sitting up in Wells Harbour on the pontoon. She has had, she could have just gone straight home, sat indoors, done nothing. Had a cup of tea, patted the cat, But no, she's come out, she's walked around the harbour, and she spotted this boat sitting on a pontoon in the harbour and recognised it. Walked down and seen me. So this pair, the boat and her, grew up down in Cornwall and have now been reunited on the other side of the country in a little tiddly harbour up in the East Coast. What are the chances of that? They must be minuscule. For £1 on that, I'd be a millionaire. Blew me away. And it's such a nice story because it made her night. made her day and everything, brought back loads of beautiful childhood memories and everything. And it's going to make her dad's night, because she said she's going to go home, phone her dad, tell him she's still seeing the boat. And he is going to be so thrilled and so chuffed that it's being used. Not sitting up in some storage yard like so many other boats going green, which we've all seen around all the yards and everything. There's always about 8 or 9 in the corner just rotting away. And still being used. And it just amazed me, because tomorrow morning I'm gone. This was her one chance. So not only has she had to come to this specific place to see the boat here, it's had to be at this specific time, because tomorrow morning, crack of dawn, bless her, I'm gone. So this was her one time. The chances are just quantum. They're just ridiculously small. Amazed me. Anyway, that was my little story. And that was my little ramble. I just thought, what a nice story. And what an unbelievable story to come together as well. Yeah, so that was my story for the night. I'm gone now. First thing in the morning, say crack of dawn. Round the coast, Lowestoft, about a 40-hour hike. Get around there. Because there's nothing on this bit of coast. Honestly, you go from, it's 14 hours between places you can possibly moor at. So I'm going round to Lowestoft, crashed in there the night, out, and then down to Chatham Marina the next day. But I just thought, for a good shakedown run, see what falls off and all that kind of thing. It's just a good little jaunt around the coast, really. So doing that tomorrow. So I'm going to leave you on a happy note, because you never bloody know what's going to come around the corner. That's a warning for you as well. Bye.